read good night, gorilla. Good night, gorilla, says the zookeeper. The gorilla steals his keys. Is there a balloon there? Yeah. So the gorilla gets out of his cage. There's the balloon, that's right. It gets out. The gorilla follows the zookeeper. There's the balloon, that's right. The zookeeper says, good night, elephant. Yeah, there's the balloon. It's floating away, isn't it? Yeah, and the elephant has a ball. And the gorilla lets the elephant out of his cage. And he lets the lion out. Good night, lion, says the zookeeper. Good night, hyena. Good night, giraffe. And the gorilla lets the hyena and the giraffe out too. Good night, armadillo, says the zookeeper. And they're all behind him. Yeah, there's the gorilla. He's got the keys. And they all follow the zookeeper home across the lawn. Yeah, there's a light, isn't there? Yeah. And they go inside. Yeah, there's the the banana. Yeah. And there's the banana. And the zookeeper takes off his shoes and he goes to bed. And Mrs. Zookeeper says, good night, dear. She turns off the light. Good night. Good night. Good night. Good night. Good night. Good night. Say all the animals. And she opens her eyes and thinks, what on earth? She turns on the light and there's the gorilla in bed with her. And she says, all right, guys, you can't stay here. You have to go back to your own beds. Come on, we're going to go back to our own beds. That's the light. That's right. So she puts all the animals in their own beds. She says, good night, Zoo. And she comes back home. But the gorilla got out again. She crawls into bed. She says, good night, dear. And Mr. Zookeeper says, good night. And the little mouse says, good night, gorilla. And the gorilla goes, zzz, because he fell asleep. The end. Yeah.
Again.